All right. We are live. It's been a minute. It's been about a couple weeks since I've done a hangover. Ain't really been much to talk about in my opinion, but we had a big time weekend. And there have been some things going on in Florida State Seminole Nation that's worth my attention and worth a few takes. So yes, we are out here. But we are in here today on a Tuesday for the Hangover, episode 29. Youth football camps all throughout South Florida and more to come. Wide receiver 1 has made his way officially announced to campus. I'm excited for that one. Big time offensive lineman commitment over the weekend. And another one in the transfer portal with more to come potentially. Man, get ready, strap in, grab your popcorn. Y'all know what time it is. It's the Hangover. And we about to get this thing cracking. Lego. Represent your shit. Need a horn in the drum roll.
Never talk to them boys that sat on them benches. I never talk to them boys that sat on them benches. I was in the game on 4th inches.
What is going on, everybody? It's your boy POLK, a.k.a. a.k.a. the Got Damn Truth. And you over here on 863 Seminole TV. And this is episode 29 of The Hangover. And we on that Alex Atkins pack, baby. So light up your cigars and let's get going. First and foremost, you can always follow this podcast on PODBEAN and Spotify. So if you can't catch us live during the YouTube broadcast, by all means, catch us on PODBEAN and Spotify after the fact, where I will be downloading this episode on there. All right, formalities out of the way. One more thing before we get started. I would like to say a rest in peace to Mr. Colt Brennan, who did pass away today at the age of 37. No, he was not a Seminole, but he was a guy that I remember watching when I was in high school or whatever. I remember watching them Hawaii teams and put up crazy numbers. And it's crazy. It seems like every week someone's passing away. Not only passing away, but these people are dying young. I didn't look into see what the cause of death was. I don't know if that information was even put out, but I just felt the need to address it and say, rest in peace. And, our thoughts and prayers go out with that family. Age of 37, man, is very young, very young. Seems like every week someone else young is passing away. I think Sam Ellinger's brother, the linebacker, I forget his name. His brother passed away earlier on the last week or late last week. Another rest in peace. Young people are dying too early. So just wanted to get that out there, man. And just say, prayers to that family. And let's get to what we came here for, baby. Before we get started, y'all already know the deal. It's been a minute, right? It's been a minute. Didn't really see much to really do over the past couple weeks. So I just was laying low. Didn't want to make a video just for the sake of making a video. But y'all know how we go. So let's not forget or pretend like we don't know the routine. So before we get started, y'all already know, time to hit that roll call up. So if you want this shout out, get in that comment section. Always hit that like button before we get started. I got Tyler in the building, Dan Squatch, Gator Hater, Rose, R. Davius, Tonio, Hurricane T2Ys in the building, Florida State Love, Island Boy Todd Pope, and Montre. And I'm sure more will continue to roll in as we keep this thing rocking. And of course, hit the like button. Seminole Firewater 93. What's going on, Noles Squad? And what's up, Mayan King? Raider Noel. All right, that's what I'm talking about. We in here. Hit that like button. Let's get this thing started. South Florida. South Florida. That's where the staff has spent the last few days, the last week. They had youth camps, free youth camps, by the way, which I think is a good show. It's a good show for the community. From everything I've heard from these youth camps, very positive reactions with the community, very positive reactions with the fans and the Florida State alum in that area. They're free. They were in Broward, Dade, and Palm Beach counties. And former Florida State players such as Rodney Hudson, Snoop Menace, Nick O'Leary, EJ Manuel, Marcus White, all came out, showed their support to the staff. So that was dope to see. And they're not done. May 11th, man, they'll be in Greenland Park in Jacksonville. 5:30 is, if you're in Jacksonville and you want to take, if you got little ones, man, take your kids out there. May 11th, they'll be in Jacksonville at Greenland Park. 5:30 registration, and the campus from 6:30 to 8. And guess what? Like I said, it's free. Get a chance to go out there, meet Norvell and the staff. Get your kid some coaching, a little bit of coaching, and go out there and have some fun. 6:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern time at Greenland Park. Again, 5:30 registration. They'll be in Jacksonville. May 13th, they'll be in Melbourne. May 14th, they'll be in Orlando. May 15th, they'll be in Kissimmee. Don't have too much information on like the locations of those other places. So yeah, there's that. So all in all, again, man, that's good work. I love to see him go down there, show face, build that respect, build that repertoire. That might not even be the right word there, but just build that community down there in South Florida. That's what we need. I even heard some some coaches. I think this was in Broward. I heard some high school coaches came out there. They couldn't directly talk to the staff, but they did bring, from what I heard, they brought some of their kids out there just to watch, and just to they couldn't talk to the staff at that point, but they just wanted to get them out there and get them a feel. So that was good to see. Tay Noel in the building. What is up? All right, wide receiver 1, Andrew Parchment officially announced by the athletic department. I'm not going to spend too much time on Parchment, but I want to discuss him a little bit because we were all intrigued, man, by what we saw in the spring game from the young wide receiver core. Well, guess what? Now you're adding a veteran to the group, grad transfer. He finished all his classes at Kansas. There were some talks and rumors that he might not even get to campus. Again, stuff I didn't quite really want to get into and talk about. I see Lorenzo, I see Smith G 1095. So I didn't want to get too deep into, or I didn't want to cover something that I wasn't sure about. But yeah, it was rumored that Parchment may not even make it. But nope, officially announced, Parchment is in the building. And just to have that senior to senior connection, just to have that a big time playmaker senior in the locker room to help the young wide receiver core. Well, we think the core of the receiving core is going to be, believe it or not, is going to be the 3 freshmen, man. McLean, Hill, and Burrell. Add Parchment to that group. You still do have Ontario Wilson and Keyshawn Helton, who I expect to be pivotal in the mix. I don't know if if they don't step their game up, those freshmen are going to get a lot of snaps. But I like the way this wide receiver room is developing. I like the way it's coming together. Shout out to Andrew Parchment. I think we're all expecting big things between him and Mackenzie Milton. Composite 3-star. And I'm gonna butcher his name. I think it's Aloyo Ba. That first name is a head scratcher for me. But he committed over the weekend, man. I put it in the community. 6'6", 325 pounds, out of Memphis by way of IMG Academy. He's the 516th player nationally, the 49th best offensive tackle, and the 69th best player in the entire state of Florida. Now, we're going to spend a little bit of time on Ba because I agree with the consensus, and I'm going to get into it. But before we even get into my thoughts on the player himself, I've seen some detractors say, oh, man, they got a player ranked in the 500s. He's not that good. Listen, when you're talking offensive linemen, people, I'm not going to say throw the stars out the window because at the end of the day, we've talked about it. Stars mean something. But when you're talking about linemen, yeah, throw the stars out the window, baby, because you look at the tools, you look at the body type, and you see what you can develop and what you have to work with. And there are 36 teams in the country who offered this kid, and not just any 36 teams. This kid had offers from Bama, UF, Michigan, Notre Dame, Ohio State, USC, Texas A&M, and the list goes on and on. If I look at that offer sheet and I say those schools saw something in him that they wanted and Florida State was able to land him, that tells me all I need to know. At 6'6", 325, he's probably got some bad weight on him. So the consensus on him is that he's a guard. I don't disagree with it. I think if you were looking at him right now and to say, where does he transition the best? It's probably guard. Okay, his footwork's a little slow, right? So he couldn't play tackle right now was the point. However, again, I go back to 6'6", 325. How much of that 325 is bad weight? Can you get him to lose 10 to 15 pounds? Does that bring his quickness up? Does that help his lateral movement? Okay, those type of things are great to see. That's a lot. Again, 6'6", 325, man, at any time, any day, I'll take that to work with. If Bama, UF, Michigan, Notre Dame, Ohio State, if those schools saw something in him, obviously, I trust the staff scouted this one very well, and I'm full on with this one. Again, I think he is a guard. I think if you're looking at him right now, yeah, I'd say his best transition would be guard, a big guard. However, again, if you can get him to drop 10, 15 pounds, or even if you can get him to drop, let's say 20 pounds and go to 305, but then resculpt that and let him put on another 15 pounds of muscle, how does that help a guy like Ba transition and potentially be a offensive tackle at the next level, right? So I don't think, and I'm hearing a lot of people say, oh, he's a guard. I don't think we need to just put that kid in a box and say he's a guard right now. He's a developmental prospect, okay? He's not a guy that's probably going to come in and play right away, and that's fine. He's also a guy who didn't play his junior year. That's another thing. You're going to have a lot of these kids, man. A lot of these kids in this class, some are overranked and some are underranked because they did not play junior years. And what you're going to see is guys move all up and down the rankings come this year when guys are actually playing football. A lot of kids didn't play football last year. He was one of them. He has a chance to be up there. He has the chance to show that he's better than he was in his sophomore campaign, sophomore campaign, he played in Memphis. He's in IMG now. We're going to see exactly how he turns out, but I'm excited for this one. I think it's a great get. I think it's a good get. A guy with a high ceiling, right? Give me a guy with a ton of potential. So I'll take that. 3-star. And I think he is a 4-star on like Rivals or some other websites. But you guys, I stay consistent. Composite, that's what I go by. And on a composite, he's a 3-star. They're projecting him as guard. That's fine. I'm just saying don't box him in there just yet. He can potentially be more with development getting that body right. Again, 325, probably got some bad weight on him. Let's get that body right. Let's get him in that Storms and that let him get in that Alex pack. Hey, and who knows? Who knows what you got? Let's see what your thoughts are on Ba. Dan Squatch says, if Ba develops properly long term and he's still your guard, you finally got a good line. I agree with Dan Squatch. That means you filled out that tackle position fairly well. I agree with Dan Squatch. What up, Irv? Ba is a big future playing the tackle position. It's not like we don't need guards, and I'll go by whichever one fits what I want to believe. No, physically, he has the frame and athleticism to make the move to tackle. His absolute ceiling is a monster right tackle, but he still may be a better guard, and that's a fair assessment from Dan Squatch. I'm not saying that I agree with the consensus that he's a guard. Okay. And I agree. I just think from a kid who last time he played football as a sophomore and we haven't seen him in a year and he's 6'6", 325. Again, you get that weight for me is what is going to matter. I watched a little bit of him, not a lot. I'd probably take a deeper dive into it. But yeah, his sophomore film he was kind of crazy. He looked really good. But again, I do think that, foot movement, that lateral movement for a tackle, he may lack that going forward. But we'll see. We will see. Don't jump the gun on me, Antonio. But since Antonio want to try to jump the gun, y'all got to be a little patient. Be a little patient with your boy. I know I ain't been on here in a couple weeks. Y'all know me. I'm going to get to all of that. But since Antonio want to jump the gun, and I think we done with Ba, Dylan Gibbons. Transfer from Notre Dame. We're talking about a 6'4", 309-pound guard out of Clearwater. He's a grad transfer, but I believe he has potentially 2 years of eligibility, which is very interesting. Very interesting. I think he has 2 years, or potentially has 2 years. I'm not sure how that's working out, but I heard, I think I heard it from on the bench that they said that he has 2 years possibly. But what exactly is Dylan Gibbons bringing to the table? Before we get into Dylan Gibbons, Juwan says Ba's an offensive tackle. He was at the Rivals camp in Miami, and it was said he looked better at the tackle than the guard. He also has lost a lot of weight. Former Noles Trey Thomas. Yes, I know Trey Thomas coaches him at IMG, and I do know he loves the kid. So there you go. Look at his face in that 247 photo. He's making strides, develop me as a young man. I don't care where he plays, wherever Coach A puts him, I'm with it. I keep hearing it floated that Gibbons could flex into tackle, and I don't buy it at all. We're going to get into Gibbons here in 1 second, and let's read this last comment. Are there really this few tackle prospects? Seems like every O-line we get projects to guard. How are lower schools finding tackle so easy? Is every other ACC having this issue? When you're talking about, I'm going to answer your question real quick, Seminole. I think when you project every kid to a tackle, to a guard, it becomes a lazy projection because the tackles are considered the more athletic of the offensive linemen. They got a little bit more, I don't want to say responsibility, but they have to kind of move in space a little bit more out there on an island sometimes against what, your defensive ends sometimes are your most athletic players on the field. And I think at times when I say we, I mean everybody, not singling anybody out per se, but I think we just get lazy and we go, that guy's a guard. And that's why I said, hold on, time out. I'm not ready to say Ba is just a guard. Let's get him in a weight room, man. Let's get him right. Let's get him proper technique, proper coaching, and let's see what he can be. So don't get down and worry about whether a guy's a guard or a tackle. Let's fill out the offensive line with talent. I watched the NFL draft just recently, as you guys know. I was doing a little bit of live coverage on the draft, and I saw offensive tackles get drafted who were 6'4", 305 pounds, and win in the first round, win in the second round. Give it time, get him technique, length is going to help. Ba has the size and the frame to be a tackle. I think people are lazily giving him a guard, saying that he's a guard because of his size and his weight, and that he doesn't necessarily look real good in space now. But you're talking about, again, a kid who only played sophomore year or freshman and sophomore year, didn't get to play last year. Just be patient on Ba. Don't worry about whether he's a guard or a tackle at this point. Just be glad that you got him. Gibbons. I'm happy. This is a good get. Man. Alex Atkins. Shout out to Coach Atkins, man. Now, there's been some questions on whether this was a good take. Because again, like I just said, everybody's so enamored with tackles. We need tackles. And we do. Don't get me wrong. We do. I don't see Gibbons as a tackle. I don't see that. I don't know. I don't know if the staff sees, from what I'm hearing, the staff sees him as a guard. And I don't, now I think he could play guard or center. From what I heard, he played some backup center at Notre Dame. Also on Gibbons, he wasn't a regular starter at Notre Dame, so that is something to take into account. But you're talking about a guy who was a second string player on an offensive line that I think had 3 guys drafted in this past NFL draft, had the best or one of the top 3 O-lines in all of college football last year. So you got a guy who's been coached well, knows what he's doing, played behind NFL caliber players. That's the type of guy you want to bring on to Florida State's offensive line, because you can say what you want about Gibbons, whether he didn't play at Notre Dame, so why is Florida State, blah, blah, blah. He got beat. I heard he got beat out by an early enrollee. Do we really want to do like this? Name me 3 better offensive linemen on Florida State's roster than Dylan Gibbons is going to be. Because I'll damn it wait. Because I can only name 1 for sure. Maybe 2. But I don't know if Robert Scott's ready. I don't know if I'm ready to go that far with Robert Scott yet. The only guy I could probably name for sure is Love Taylor. That's probably better than Gibbons. So don't give me that he was a backup. He was a second string guy. Bro, stop all of that. You can't name me 3 to 4 other guys on FSU's offensive line right now that's better than him. We need that. Where they choose to play him, I'm going to assume guard. The more I watch the way this Coach Atkins and this staff is kind of going about the offensive line, the more I'm positive that I don't think they see tackle as a big of a need as we see it. What I think they see as a bigger need, and we're going to get in this a little bit later, because there's other guys in the portal that they're still looking at offensive line. Apparently they still have 1 more scholarship, by the way. But there's other guys that I see, there's the bigger need I think they're worried about is center. And I don't think that's a knock on Maurice Smith. I don't think they think Maurice Smith is a bad player. I don't think they think Maurice Smith has had time to develop physically. Maurice Smith, if you check the Florida State official site, is listed at 273. That's an issue. Even if he is a good football player, even if he is a smart football player, he's undersized. And I think they much rather put some depth at that center and guard positions, give a guy like Maurice Smith time to develop physically, right? And Maurice Smith will still be the future of that position. But they seem to be pretty content with Love Taylor at tackle and Robert Scott at the other tackle, with Darius Washington and Lloyd Willis probably backing that up. And then I'm pretty sure they're going to try to fast track Rod Orr if he's ready when he gets on campus. To me, it looks like they are more concerned with the middle of that offensive line than the outside of the offensive line. You can all have our opinions on it. I'm just telling you when I watch the way they're moving, what I think they look at the needs and how they're addressing them. I think Gibbons is a great pickup. I think if you go 1 through 5 right now, I think your tackle I think you go Love, Taylor, Gibbons. As of right now, believe it or not, I'm going to say I think they move Bavion back to center, but that could change, and we're going to talk about that coming up here in a minute. I think you're starting 5 projected, and I could be dead wrong. I think Love, Taylor, Gibbons, Bavion, Lucas, and Scott. That's what I think they're looking at, because that gives your second string Maurice Smith, Estes, Darius Washington, Brady Scott still on that, and Rod Orr, Lord Willis, or one of those other guys. So like Dan says, I'm just reading the tea leaves. I got no insight. I'm just trying to figure out their moves. And Dan says the tea leaves he's read is the staff is making noises. Lights came on for Washington this offseason. That's cool. I think Washington's good. I just don't know if I want to see him starting right away. But back to Gibbons. I don't want to get too far off track. Gibbons is a great get, man. 6'4", 309. You put him in there at guard. You could potentially put him at. You could potentially, because again, he played backup center from what I read at Notre Dame. Your starting offensive line could be Love, Taylor, Bavion, Gibbons at center, Lucas, and Robert Scott. What I do think they want to do as well is I think they want to make that center position be more of a senior position. I don't think, again, this isn't a knock on Maurice Smith. I know everybody's going to be like, damn, they're trying to get rid of Maurice Smith or move him down the depth chart. They're trying to pair up Mackenzie Milton with a senior center. 2 guys who can, the center calls the right blocking scheme. Obviously, quarterback's going to figure out what the defense is running coverage-wise and all this other stuff. I think that's kind of the plan. I remember when Florida State had Cam Irving at tackle, and I forget who was playing center at the time. It was after Brian Stork graduated, and the offensive line just wasn't the same. They eventually moved Cam Irving to center, let Rod Johnson be the tackle, and that offensive line started clicking. I think you get the right center in there that could maybe set the tone and shape up the entire offensive line. Having Gibbons, period, is a great, just for the versatility and the fact that, again, you can't name me three guys better than him. You can't name me 3 guys on the roster right now that's probably better than him, or at least has been coached as well as he has. Obviously, Notre Dame has turned into an offensive line factory, so he's been coached well, and he's intelligent, and knows what he's doing. And he's physically developed at that, again, playing at Notre Dame. So I'm all for Dylan Gibbons. But maybe they're not done. I'm hearing potential Buffalo offensive guard transfer, Jacob Gall. The guy graded out 90.5 last year. Now, he's 6'2", 305 at a Cincy. He's a decorated group of 5 offensive linemen, again, out of Buffalo. Does he translate to Florida State? If you put him at center, I think so. And I think if they are really serious into getting this guy, then I think this guy may be your potential starting center for the season at 6'2", 305. Guy who grades out 90.5, I'll take it. If I can put him at center, that knocks another guy back on that second unit. That gives you a ton of depth at a position that FSU has struggled mightily with injuries the past few years on offensive line. Not only has the offensive line as a whole been bad, but even the good guys that we've had consistently have yet to be able to stay healthy for an entire season. Right? So, Gibbons. When I initially saw Gibbons, I looked at it and I said, I'm not a fan of that one. It's another inside player. And then again, I just kind of reassessed it. I looked at everything. I looked at the moves. I think Coach Atkins and the staff thinks that they are okay at the tackle position. They feel more inclined to address offensive guard, mainly I think center. And I think if you can get Jacob Gall, I think you plug him directly at center. And now you're talking about, listen to this. You got senior left tackle, senior guard, senior center. Lucas is technically a sophomore, but he's been a 3-year player at Florida State. And who knows? Maybe Lucas, maybe Bavion or somebody would push Lucas. I doubt it. Again, but Bavion adds good depth. I know we probably don't want to see Bavion starting. Point being, senior, junior, but he's technically a sophomore, but a guy who started for 3 years at the college level in Lucas. And Robert Scott is your lone. He's your lone, young player on that offensive line. But all of a sudden, you've got a bunch of senior guys on that offensive line who know you went from maybe the youngest group last year, where they were starting a bunch of sophomores and true freshmen. Now you might have one of the better groups in the conference with a bunch of seniors, a bunch of transfers, guys who graded out highly, who know what they're doing, man. Atkins, man, I don't know where we'd be without Coach Atkins, man. Shout out to the staff. I like what they're doing on the offensive line. Do we want a true tackle type? Sure. That's a luxury. I do get it. But again, I saw guys with the same dimensions as Love Taylor get drafted in the first round or second round of this last NFL draft at tackle. I think Love Taylor is fine. I'm not saying Love Taylor is a draftable, or I'm not saying he's going to the NFL. I think he's your best tackle on the roster if you can't add another guy. I'm fine with sticking with Taylor. Preferably you would move him inside, but if you can't get a 6'6", 6'7" guy, I'm cool with Love Taylor being there. And I'm cool with what they're doing on this offensive line. This offense, adding the addition of Parchment, the addition of these potential offensive linemen. I already got Gibbons. I'm not worried about this offense in the slightest come this upcoming season, people. I'm not worried about this offense in the slightest. At worst, Gibbons what? At the worst possible scenario, Gibbons is a solid backup. At worst, most likely he's your starter, and he's am I calling Gibbons all ACC conference, all-American potential NFL player? Not necessarily. No, I'm not. I'm not saying he's going to be anything like that. I just need the man to be a solid staple at the position. Give us quality depth. Once a guy goes down, then you can plug a guy in. Man, I'm with it. I'm with it all the way. And I think they're, man, the only thing that keeps me from really kind of going all in on this team in the upcoming season is defensively. I have to believe it to see it. I have to believe it to see it, man. Or see it to believe it. Damn, I said it backwards. Believe it to see it. I have to see it to believe it. That's the thing that's keeping me from kind of really going all in on this team to where I'm like, okay. Because I think offensively, they're going to be just fine. With the addition of Parchment, with that, we're 4 deep legit at running back. Offensive line is shaping up fairly nice. I was already okay with the starting guys we had, bringing in the depth that we're getting. Bro, we're making the right strides, in my opinion. Let's go to y'all's comments and see what everybody's talking about. Let me scroll up a little bit. Antonio says a backup O-lineman from Notre Dame is an upgrade over half of the line. That's exactly. I don't know why people are so down on it. Who do you think we're going to get in the portal? First of all, the portal's not done. That would be the only thing. Getting back to Jacob Gall, that'd be the only thing I would say for FSU to kind of hold the brakes on him. I get it. He's a guy who was a great group of 5 offensive linemen, highly decorated, graded out extremely high, maybe even potential NFL player. I would kind of say hold off and see if that one guy can hit the portal. Maybe 1 or 2 guys can hit the portal. Because I told you guys 4 months ago that this portal thing wasn't over with. And as you see every day, the portal just continues and continues. And I don't think it's going to stop anytime soon. So that'd be my only hesitation. let's wait and see if maybe a legit offensive tackle enters the mix, but you can't wait forever. Eventually, you got to get your guys, get them on campus, and get them that chemistry right, and get it, get to work basically. So you can't wait forever, but maybe wait till June, July, and see if you can get a guy. Bro, I'm all the way down with the Robert Scott, the way he handled his reps last year and how he looked in the spring film I saw. Add that with what I can tell you about him as a young man, and I'll take my lumps. Agreed. Taylor is proven, and I think Scott is going to develop into a solid right tackle. I agree with you. The starting five on the offensive line. Gibbons knows the Notre Dame playbook. It is something to account for sure for game one. I'm not gonna say it, but I'm not gonna say I buy it about Washington yet. Show me, but I think he's still your left tackle one when Notre Dame. You think Washington's gonna start left tackle game one? Is that what you're saying, Dan Squatch? Because I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I could be wrong. It could be Washington, Love Taylor, Gibbons at center, Lucas and Scott, I guess. I guess I Washington. I've watched Washington play too much tackle, and I just don't like it when I see it. He's not strong enough yet, and not from a fault of his own. I think Washington has struggled with shoulder injuries like the first part of his career. I don't know, man. Give me Love Taylor. Gibbons should play center. More definitely is always better. LML, if nothing else, Gibbons can't make more pre-snap penalties yeah, exactly. I mean, look, I thought Bavion, all things considered, guys, I thought Bavion Johnson played his best football when he was primarily a guard last year. I really thought that was the best Bavion has looked his entire time at Florida State playing guard. But even saying that, the dude had one or two false starts every single game. Bavion's got to clean that up. Did Washington play in the spring game? I believe he did. I believe Washington played. Nobody can block 11. That's true. Washington and Scott both get beat by 11, but they did better than everybody else on the edge. I was proud of Scott for real. I like how he handled Johnson. I think Scott did the best. I remember watching Scott play 11 very nicely. Again, and we didn't get Love Taylor a chance to guard number 11. That's why I think Love Taylor is your starting tackle going forward. Here's a question. Would you rather have a Power 5 backup or a group of 5 prodigy looking to move up? I don't. Just that question off of face, it's like, would you rather have a Wisconsin backup, or a guy who went to a small school but balled out? On face value, that's a very hard question to answer. I don't know. I just would have to put my eyes on the players and just diagnose them for what they are. If I was forced to answer that question, I'll take the group of 5 guy. I'll take the guy who at least dominated his level. I'll take the guy who dominated his level over the guy who was a backup. I'll take the guy who dominated his level. Pat, what is going on? What freshmen might not be coming in the summer? They all should be. I haven't heard anything about nobody not showing up. Everybody academically qualified, from my knowledge. Everybody should be there in the summer. Putting some great interior guys in there will make DLT and Scott's job easier. Arm length can be no good for NFL scouts. I don't know DLT's measurements, but my guess, if anything keeps him out of the league, it's that. Chat jumped on me. O-line is always banged up, always nature of the job. We need all the distance between Henry. Yeah, that's true. We don't need to see Henry or Jalen Goss on the field. That is 100% true. Shout out to Dan Squatch again. When it comes to this offensive line, you can always bang on Dan Squatch. we don't. If we get to the point on the offensive line where we're seeing Ira Henry or Jalen Goss, it's going to be, and maybe even Chaz Neal. Now, I'm actually interested to see if Chaz Neal has improved in any way. Because again, Chaz Neal's a guy who's 6'7", 300 plus. So I want to see him. But if we get to the point where we're seeing Chaz Neal, Jalen Goss, and Henry, I don't know, man. Might be bad. It'd be bad business. The center is a vocal leader on that offensive line. Linebackers got to, again, that defense, bro, that's a whole nother show. Offensively, I'm very intrigued by this team and what they have the potential to be next year. I just don't believe in the defense until I see it. And that linebacking core is maybe the biggest reason why. If the defensive line can step its game up, maybe it can make the job easier for the linebacking core. But I would say linebacking core is easily the weakest position on the field. And that's not a knock on the players who I like. I think Dix has a ton of talent. I know Gaynor has a boatload of talent. I think Jaleel McCray is being just disgustingly underused. Y'all know where I'm going with this, right? Coach Marv. But again, that's a whole nother show. Because if I'm going to call out Odell, I'm damn sure going to call out Coach Marv. Priscilla, what is going on? The good news, the good move to get a player from a team you play first. Think we can get 7 to 8 games. I'm not going to call it. I refuse to give my predictions yet, no squad. Because I don't believe in the defense. I promise you, after the first game, I'll give a prediction. And maybe right before that first game, come back to me in September. I think we play on a Labor Day Monday. First game versus Notre Dame. That Sunday, I might make a prediction on the season. But as of right now, man, I just can't do it. If you told me just offensively, I think this team would be a 7-8 win and maybe better team. I think offensively, this team has all the pieces to put a good amount of points on the board. I think this team will be able to run the ball effectively and pass when it needs to, and pass the ball effectively. I really do believe that. With Milton and that stable of running backs and the wide receiver, I really do believe that. Now, don't forget about Cam McDonald on the at tight end. I think they're going to stretch him out wide, use him in different. Offensively, I'm not worried. I dipped into some Notre Dame post-spring media. They are all, that's fine. Look past this. People down on Gibbons because everyone wants that island left tackle. And there aren't any out there. Not right now. You gotta recruit those kids and develop those kids. That guy you're talking about, Dan Squatch. Look, those guys just don't enter the transfer portal just for the hell of it. Those are 3 and done most of the time. Those are guys who pick a college, go to the NFL. You got to get that guy and develop him. Maybe Rod Orr is our guy. Lord Willis, maybe. Maybe, we'll see. But you got to get that guy and develop him. Great offensive tackles ain't going to be in the portal. That's just what I said, Antonio. You're not getting that NFL tackle that's in the portal, right? It's just no. Unless something drastic was to happen where that guy would leave his school for something crazy, he's not in the portal. With Lucas already here, and now this cat from Notre Dame, our QB's finally maybe able to be at ease in the pocket. Don't believe Washington at left tackle. Heard they view him as a guard also. When I watch him, I think he's a guard. I do think he's a tweener because Washington does have long arms. I think Washington is a guy who, if you need to play tackle, he can. I would prefer him as a guard. But there's a lot of things I want to see. I want to see Washington develop more physically before I make a final judgment on him. I'm good with moving Washington to guard. What's going on, Zoe? Next year, we have to get into that portal for linebackers and D tackles. Maybe if y'all want me to do it, and I didn't come on here to do this. I didn't come on here to talk about these two coaches. But I'm watching Atkins put in work on the trail and in the transfer portal. I'm watching even Dugans put in work. Shout out to 5-star Montgomery, who's going to be making the decision potentially soon. That's it. I'm hearing Alabama's one, but Florida State's a close second. So shout out to Dugans. At least he's in the mix. We got 2 quarterbacks, 4 stars committed. So Kenny Dillingham's doing his thing. We don't have a running back as of yet, but seems like we're always able to find running back somehow. David Johnson. Why can't we get a linebacker or a defensive tackle on this damn roster? Why can't we get them in the damn recruited? We're losing linebackers to Georgia Tech. I don't even know if we're in the running for any real defensive tackle. Man, y'all about to have me get on a whole something I didn't come on here for. Those false starts are head issues. He needs to get out his system. Talking about Bavion. That's Wayne Tillman. Rose says, nah, Polk, it's supposed to be one player that's not going to make it, and that's the reason we might have another. Oh, so I wonder who that is then. If that is the case, I'd be curious to know who that is. If there's supposed to be one that's not going to make it. Well, let's look at it. We'll look at it real quick. Because now I'm curious. Because I that's my first time hearing that. Not saying it's wrong. Your boy don't hear everything. If I had to guess, we're going to look. Let's look at to see who might not be making it. So you have Dustin Hill, who I'm all for certain. Hunter Washington should be there. I think Chambry will be there. I think Shaheem Brown, I think Warchant did a piece on him, so he'll be there. Kobe Gross always tweets, so he should be there. Maybe Eubanks. I think Byron Turner, George Wilson, Peyton, or I would say the guys who have been quiet, maybe Omarion Cooper, Jordan Eubanks, and maybe Rod Orr. Maybe one of those guys don't make it. Maybe one of those guys. I say Washington is your left tackle week 1 because length is at a higher premium on the left side. And DLT is your best right tackle right now. Guards flex to right tackle easier. That's fair. Yeah, Rose, I heard it from more than one outlet now. Surprise, surprise. Marv missed another linebacker. 35, like, hey, tell him 53 watching right now. Hit the like button, folks. Marv gotta go. So y'all like it when I get into that mode. Y'all like it when I start getting into that mode. That's why y'all doing this. Hey, Tyler, I ain't mad about Willis as I was. He wants to play safety in the hybrid safety role. He plays in his film. Yeah, I will say this about Willis. We might still be in the mix there. Hopefully someone can get in his head, gets into his head and makes him realize he's not a safety at the next level. He might can do that in high school. He's not going to do that in college. Damn sure not going to do that at the pros. Georgia Tech can say what they want, but yeah. The Knicks, when we play the Lakers today, I don't know. Have they started playing that game yet? I know the Knicks, man. Shout out to the Knicks. We're going to be in the damn playoffs. 4 seed, man. This ain't a basketball thing, but y'all know me. There's one team that I root for as much as these Noles. It's my Knicks. And now y'all about to make me watch the score because I forgot we were playing the Lakers. Nope, they don't start. Their game ain't started yet. Michael Langston hinted at someone not coming. I would love for them to say who that is. As long as it's not Rod Orr. Let's go back to that list. Let's go back to that list real quick. Langston always talking about something. I would say as long as it's not, I'm 1,000% it's not Dustin Hill. I'm 1,000% it's not Hunter Washington. Pretty confident it's not Chambry. If it's Omarion Cooper, I'm cool. Not saying he's not a good player. Not saying I don't want him. We got a ton of DBs. Omarion Cooper could end up getting lost in the sauce if we're being frank. When you talk about some of the guys we got potentially coming next year, I'm not saying I don't want Omarion Cooper. I'm saying if he's one of the guys, I'd be okay. We can't lose Rod Orr. Rod Orr's got to be there. We got to have Patrick Payton. We got to have George Wilson. We got to have Byron Turner. Again, Eubanks is a guy who I never believed was a Florida State take anyway. Not high on him, sorry. Maybe he proves me wrong if he does come to campus. If it's Eubanks, I'm cool. I think Shaheem Brown's all in, and I think Kobe Gross is all in. So the only guys who I'd be okay with losing is Omarion Cooper and Jordan Eubanks. Everybody else, man, I really want. I'm not going to lie. Everybody else, I really want. Dan Squatch says they literally put him in the middle of the field with that linebacker body at safety depth and have him run side out of side time and play the linebacker role. You really need more than one game to critique this team. I really do. You really do need more than one. But at least if I can see him in a live game against a big-time opponent in Notre Dame, at least I can have a feel for what they're doing. It's really hard for me to just off the cuff just go, oh, this is an 8-win team. And I'm not the type of person to be like, this is a 3-win team or 4-win team. Y'all know me. I'm not that type of guy either. So I gotta see it. I'm tired of hearing, this is coming from Wayne, I'm tired of hearing that this was a COVID year. If Atkins got positive results out of the O-line, Marvin, thank you, Wayne. If Atkins can recruit and the linebacking group as a whole can look better, why can't these other coaches do that? Dan Swartz says Washington is behind on filling out his frame at tackle or guard, but I haven't seen that kind of drive blocking you want in a guard. That's fair too. But also, I haven't seen him be able to hold his point of attack like a tackle. Like he gets drived back too much, period. That's my problem with Washington as a whole. But like you stated, he hasn't been able to develop. That's why I believe they want to add this depth and give these players some time to develop. Whole defensive staff is lacking. Montre's laughing at something. Richika? Man, if I'm messing that name up, homie, I am sorry. But he says, this is what I think we need to do years ago, was to get the younger version of Odell into Florida State, maybe like a Corey Simon or somebody along that ways to help rejuvenate some recruitment. I was thinking either Cooper or Eubanks. That's what I just said. I'll be cool with losing either one of those two. If I lose either one of those two, I'm okay. Hunter Washington going to be a baller. I agree. But he loves Coach, man. Yeah, they always love Coach Marv and they always love Odell, but they never commit to play for him. What up, Raymond James? Could we luck out? And if it's Eubanks, I don't want to say we're lucking out, Tyler, but I won't lose a lick of sleep over it. Maybe Eubanks sees the writing on the wall, and maybe he thinks he doesn't realize he can actually play at Florida State. I don't know. I saw a War Chant article on Orr. Good. So as long as Orr is still in, that's definite, right? That's definite. We need all of that. All 6-7 of that. Another thing, stop listening to Josh Newberg. He said Gibbons wasn't even looking at FSU. Well, yeah. Newberg, shout out to Berg. I actually like listening to some, not going to, but he said he was going to pick Florida. He said Gibbons was going to go to Florida. And that same day that he predicted that, he went. And maybe Newberg did that on purpose. Maybe he did that on purpose because he knew people would say something. Montre says it's not Peyton. And Antonio says, was it me or Kevin Knowles look like he's competing for playing time this season? Kevin Knowles is a player, man. And that's what I'm saying. That's what I'd be okay with Omarion Cooper if, again, not saying I don't think he's a good player, not saying I don't want him. But when I look at the entirety of those guys, there's a few guys I'm like, that DB room's deep, and it's going to get deeper in the years to come. Believe me. But yeah, hit the like button. I'm caught up on all the comments. And the only other thing to really touch on, and we'll answer some more questions going forward. So keep the questions coming. But I did think about doing a video, I think it was like last week or so, because there's been some smoke around my favorite quarterback, Nico Marchiol. So I do want to address Nico because I think Nico got in his feelings. And it's okay. It's a natural human reaction. I think Nico, if you have a wife or you have a girlfriend, you know where I'm gonna come from with this. You ever want to go out with your boys, fellas, go to a bar, have a few drinks, whatever you and the fellas do. You want to go out with the fellas, and you tell your old lady, you're like, "Hey, babe, I'm finna go," or I'm finna head out, or you might even ask for permission, like, you mind if I go or can I go? And she give you a look, but be like, "Yeah, you can go, if you want," but in your heart that means she don't really want you to go, but she's saying you can go, but she don't really want you to go. And you know the feeling. So you go, you get dressed, you take a shot, you do whatever it is you finna do. You get ready to walk out that door and she give you that look like you really finna go. And you like, now you debating, is this good for your health to walk out that door or to stay home? I think that's what happened with Nico Marchiol. I think Florida State told him, we're taking another quarterback. And I think Nico was like, I'm cool with that. Yeah, I'm good. Add another quarterback. I don't mind. And then they did it, and they were like, he was like, you really finna add another quarterback? And not only any quarterback, you brought in a AJ Duffy, one of the better ones in the country. I think that's what happened with Nico, man. I think Nico was like, yeah, I'm down for competition. Do what you do. And then he did it. And then Florida State did it. And he looked and he like, man. Because when that happened, Nico started tweeting out that he'd be taking official visits. I've heard that Florida State has had conversations with Nico, and they're kind of reeling him back in, kind of reassuring him of what's going on. I think it's a natural reaction. I think if you're a quarterback, you should keep your options open. There's only one football and there can only be one quarterback. With that said, we'll see if Nico actually takes official visits. But I think Nico got a little bit of cold feet. I'm not saying he's scared of competition. But the writing, look, there's only one quarterback. And whoever loses the battle is probably transferring. That's just the way the quarterback game is played nowadays. I think Nico got a little bit in his feelings, and that's okay. It tells me he cares. It tells me he cares about starting time and playing. And I'm cool with that. But for right now, he's still a no. Patrick Payton, Kevin Noles are my sleepers. I like Noles. He's on the 2 deep for nickel most of the year. Noles is a playmaker. I'm less high on that 215-pound freshman DN making an impact this year. Well, both of them are 215 pounds. Talking about Peyton and George Wilson. The fellas, I'm out. I think Knowles and Hunter Washington are going to contribute. West Virginia did announce that Nico has scheduled an OV with West Virginia. I forget there was another team. That's about 2 or 3 more teams. But I'm told that Florida State has had a conversation with him and that he might not. He's announced them, but he might not take them. If he takes them, then there's a reason to be worried. And then I think Florida State will kind of look elsewhere. But if he doesn't take them, I think he'll be in this class. Do you have any thoughts on the Miami-Bama game? Not at all. Not one bit. Other than roll tide, because that's what the hell's going to happen. Irv got it. He going to set up a Michigan. Yeah, Michigan State was the other team I remember seeing. Nico was looking at the QB room like, damn, this is going to be tough. Imagine Nico's feelings. I don't think Wayne, I'd be shocked if at any point this year FSU has 3 quarterbacks committed at the same time. Now, it's very possible that we have 3 different quarterbacks committed, especially if one leaves, blase. I'd be shocked if Morris committed with Nico and AJ Duffy already committed. I'd be shocked. And if he does, yeah, then Nico's gone. Because I would definitely take MJ Morris and AJ Duffy. And y'all know I love me some Nico. But if you're talking about winning football games in the future of this program, give me MJ Morris and AJ Duffy. I think Nico came back around. I'm not really concerned about him leaving. Nico was too intertwined. And that's the thing. That I think that's why people were kind of panicking. Nico really came out there and he was recruiting hard. He's been one of the big recruiters, of this class. So when he started tweeting, because he didn't usually Nico, he tweets when guys commit. He ain't had nothing to say when AJ Duffy committed. I think he tweeted like a Bible verse. Anytime a guy tweets a Bible verse, that's never really a good sign. He tweeted like a Bible verse and then started tweeting official visits. So people kind of panicked. I don't know if they panicked, but they definitely started speculating. Whatever happens with Nico, do not take MJ Morris. Well, if Nico leaves, why would you not take MJ Morris? That doesn't make sense. Checking in. What up, Tim? How you doing? They still gonna have to compete with Jordan Travis. Travis Hunter is staying in Nico's ear. I saw Travis Hunter tweet some stuff to Nico on Twitter too. So Hunter's still in Nico's ear, obviously. We'll let him take his free visits and get wined and dined. I would. These kids couldn't go anywhere a year ago. I agree with that. I would say that to all of the kids. I would even stop. Don't even commit right now. Last year. You weren't able to go anywhere. Take all your visits. Use these schools for all of their resources. And then make your decision. But go out there and get treated like. And remember, these schools need you more than you need them. Recruits. The schools need you more than you need them. And that's just a fact. Somehow has intertwined with the two. I don't know about that so much, Irv. If I remember correctly, I think Sam was doing some recruiting, but I don't remember him being as involved as Nico is right now. I could be wrong, but I don't remember it. Chris Garves is a baller. I want him in this 2022 class. Chris Garves. Who is Chris Garves, Keontae? What position does he play? MJ Moore's dad is a drama queen for what I hear. Big red flag for me. Well, if MJ's letting his father choose his destination, it is what it is there. You think we have a good chance to pull Kelly back? From what I hear from the interviews, Kelly still says Florida State's number one. I think with Kelly, we were just talking about MJ Morris's dad. I think with Kelly is going to come down to his mom, if I'm being honest. I think if you add Kelly, I think Kelly would be a Seminole. But it's obviously mom is the captain of the ship, which it is what it is. I'm not here to say whether it's good, right, wrong, or bad. Mom is the captain of that ship. What mom eventually decides, I think, is going to be what happens there. Kelly, and I always mess his name up, but you're talking about the linebacker from Miami Central, I think. Our two South Florida battles we need to win for sure. Kelly, I don't know if we're going to get the linebacker, though. I don't know if we're going to get him. We need to keep Sam. And Kelly's mom wants the bigger. That's all I think of. That's what I think is going to revolve around. Personally, I just think whatever Kelly's mom wants, and whoever's going to give them the biggest incentives, I think that's where Kelly may end up. But I think if it was up to Nigel Leak, I think he'd be a Seminole. And as far as Sam McCall goes, again, I like where we're at with Sam. But I do think that's a guy you got to continue to recruit. But, man, I think I covered everything. Gibbons, Gall, even touched on Nico a little bit. Chris Graves is an athlete out of Fort Myers. Speaking of Instagram, I started following some guys on the roster. Interested to see who's working and who's playing over the break. Dan Squatch brought up something good. I was able to watch Jaleel McCray, Amari Gaynor. They were running stadium stairs a few days ago So some guys are putting in the work over the break and they're, staying in shape, doing their thing. I would say this: if you're, I know Jordan Travis is putting in work. He's not trying to. I think Milton's going to be the quarterback, but Jordan Travis is going to push it as far as he can. If you're in that running back room, you might want to put in work because it's deep and you can get lost in the shuffle if one guy gets hot. I hope Ontario Wilson, Jordan Young, Keyshawn Helton are put Portier, Brian Robinson. Hope those guys are putting in work because some young kids aren't playing. And you got Parchment now on campus and you got Dustin Hill coming in. If you're not putting in work. So frankly, all of these guys need to be putting in work because there's not a position that I would pencil in on this entire roster. Other than I'll pencil in Mackenzie Milton right now. Other than that, there's not a position I'd pencil in on that roster. Everybody better Mackenzie Milton, Jermaine Johnson are the only two that I'll pencil in as definite. No one's going to, and Love Taylor. Those three positions are only positions where their positions aren't getting taken. Everybody else better put in work. Everybody else better put in work because your position's up for grabs. If he pulls him off, I'll be happy. Why wouldn't I? I think he's the number one. Isn't he like the number one linebacker in the entire state? Yes, I'd be happy if he pulled him off. Matter of fact, let me look him up right now. Actually, let's go to player rankings. So I can get exactly how what is it? What is that? Go back. So I can tell you exactly what his rank is. Wesley, again, I butchered that last one. The number 7 all outside linebacker in the entire state. He's crystal balled to Miami, by the way. 6'1", 200 pounds. Nationally, he's a 113th, 14th best player in the state of Florida. I mean, come on. Yeah, if you get him, I'm ecstatic. And then Chris Marv, yeah. But has Chris Marv showed me in any way, shape, or form he would be able to land a player of this caliber? Come on now. Did you see that Alabama commit tweeting out his brand new Charger saying roll tide? Yep, I surely did. I don't have a problem with the man getting a car personally. I mean, we can't say that we want these kids to I've never agreed with, let me be clear on my stance. I've never, ever, ever thought that a university should pay players. Ever. I do not believe these kids should be paid for playing college football. However, I do think it's a damn shame that they can't make money on the side. I think that's ridiculous. I understand the thought of, well, things can get kind of messy and that. Look, a kid should be able to make money off his name. If a kid wants to go to the mall and sign autographs for 2 hours, he should be able to make money. He should be able to get compensated for that in his time. If a kid goes to a Macy's and someone wants to give him free clothes, the average American Joe can accept free stuff. Why can't these athletes? So stuff like that I've never agreed with, but I've never believed that the kids should be paid by the universities. And as far as him getting a Charger, again, it is what it is. We know it happens. I had an uncle who FAMU gave him a Camaro. This was 80s, I think, a long time ago. He had an orange and green Camaro. It is what it is. They've been doing it for years, and they're not going to stop doing stuff like that. I believe Sabbath gone help push for the linebacker from Central, seeing we both just left fishing, coaching him the past few years. Let's pray. I've heard Randy Shannon has been the guy that has been talking to Wesley, that Miami Central linebacker. I heard Shannon was the guy who, because from what I heard, he wasn't even interested in Florida State. Randy Shannon got in his ear a little bit and told him to pay attention. That's what I heard. Hunter Washington working, Joshua Farmer back in that old busted dungeon. I love it. Rose, speak up, bro. what's up on McCall and Coleman. I think what he's referring to, those guys may be close. Coleman is considered a Alabama guy. Again, with Florida State a close second. Sam McCall's Twitter handle is Bama Boy or Alabama something. He's an Alabama kid who's originates from Alabama, but he is out of Polk County. Could they both be looking at Bama? I'm sure Bama's trying to get both of them for sure. I mean, if you're a wide receiver, first of all, Alabama should be able to recruit any wide receiver they want. They just had a Heisman winner at receiver position. You had two guys going the first round. Over the years, you've had the Amari Coopers, the Julio Joneses, the Calvin Ridleys. Bama, when it comes to receiver recruiting, they're going to land guys they want. If McCall views himself as a receiver, that could be what Rosé's referring to. But I also do know that McCall has a pretty good relationship with Travis Hunter. And Washington, from what I heard, has a pretty good relationship with not Washington, but Coleman. Sorry. Coleman has a good relationship with AJ Duffy, from what I've heard. Chat jumped on me, guys. Sorry. Hunter Washington being slept on a little bit. Damn, I forgot about Dustin Hill. Akeem Dent is on vacation. Now, that's Akeem Dent's choice. That DB, I hope he can be on vacation, but I hope he's putting in work on vacation. Look, at this point, I'm not telling kids that they can't have a normal life, but if your goal is to become a millionaire and potentially change the generations of your family with making money that you would not normally be able to acquire, then you have to make sacrifices. Akeem Dent can be on vacation if he wants. I'm not saying he can't be. I'm not saying he shouldn't be. Hope he's putting in time on vacation to put in the work, because that defensive back room is tough. It's deep. And if he's caught slipping, he won't be getting on that field anytime soon. Maybe on special teams. I believe Keyshawn Helton going to have a good year. Would you ease off Marv is what I mean. I was telling you. I would ease up. Yeah, if he landed him, I would ease up on him again. But I just don't see how he's going to land that kid. He showed me that he don't even be in the mix for kids of that caliber. Again, his resume is Jordan Eubanks and Shaheem Brown. Who Shaheem Brown I actually kind of like. I think he's athletic enough. I think he's a good enough player. But that's two guys ranked in the 900s. That's what he's recruited to Florida State up until this point. I believe Savage pushed to get Wesley's It's a Rocket thing. It might be. I heard Randy Shannon was in his ear too, though. He played wide receiver DB. FSU recruit him as a corner. Check out Chris Graves' highlights. Jarian Jones starter at corner. It's a great question. All of them FSU kids rolling in brand new GM products. I ain't seen not one Toyota. Man, Kevin Coleman tweeted out he thinks it's time to so people thinks about to commit to Alabama. And McCall tweeted out him saying, text me. I did see that, but I don't think he's going to drop a commitment. I think he said May. Did he say May? He said May something. It was either May or June. Coleman said he was going to release it. I think people are thinking he's going to narrow down his top. I think he has a top 8 out. I think Coleman's going to narrow it down to like a top 4. I don't think Coleman's committing yet. You guys are talking about cars. Najee Harris' mother got a new house in Tuscaloosa, of course. And Najee Harris is from where? I mean, but Alabama, Tua's family from Hawaii got a brand new house in Tuscaloosa. Alabama, Najee Harris is from California. Of course, his mom got a house in. Come on. But they don't want to. They're not going to do anything to Bama. At this point, I don't even know why people even care or even talk about it. The proof's in the pudding. I think Alabama as a brand makes too much money for college football for them to really do anything about it, if I'm being honest with you. Coleman going to drop to a 3 or 5. That's what I'm thinking. I think it's going to drop to like a top 4 or something. I don't think he's committing. After a COVID year, I get it on having a break, but these boys who work and gonna show. There you go. Dennis, how are you doing? May 13th. Coleman already dropped his top 7. So I think he's just gonna narrow it down. I don't think he's committing. I definitely think him and Sam probably doing something. They talking. I think a lot of these recruits talk, but I don't think he's committing this soon. I'd be surprised. Man. 60 in the building. Hit the like button. Episode 29 of The Hangover. Keep the comments, keep the questions coming. We've covered the major topics, so right now we're just going with the flow. I might be on here a little longer than I usually am on The Hangover because I haven't been on here for a couple weeks. And I can see that you guys really missed me. And I missed you. So please keep the comments and keep the questions coming. But we already talked about, man, we talked about it. We talked about the youth camps. Again, if you're in the Duval area, you in Jacksonville, May 11th, they will be at Greenland Park. 5:30 is the registration, 6:30 to 8 o'clock p.m. is the actual youth camp. And it is free. It's free, so you ain't gotta pay a dime. Take your kids there, get some free stuff, or get some free coaching. Have a good time, meet the staff. They also got parks in Melbourne on May 13th, Orlando May 14th, and Kissimmee May 15th. We talked about Andrew Parchment already, officially announced. We talked about 3-star. Again, I butcher names. Aloy Ba, 6'6", out of Memphis by way of IMG. We talked about Notre Dame transfer Dylan Gibbons, who I'm excited for, and the potential of adding offensive guard transfer Jacob Gall out of Buffalo. So we've been talking about it all. Dan Squash says, Pope, what you think your 5 in the secondary after the spring? If I was strictly going off of the spring, then I would probably have Jerrion Jones at one corner. For the life of me, I don't remember who played the other corner. That may be a great thing because I don't remember who played the other starting corner in that spring game. I have to go back and watch. Give me Jerrion. Give me Brandon Moore. If we're just going off the spring game, I would put Kevin Noles at that slot. I'd throw Jamie Robinson back at safety with Travis J. That would be my 5. Brandon Brazier says, I think we ball out this year and surprise people. You're going to drop a vid on Ba? I want to. I just don't want to. I might find some camp footage or something. His sophomore stuff isn't probably what that's not what we're going to be seeing, but I might. I think we surprise some people too. You think who? Okay, I just answered that, Antonio. Thoughts on Quayshawn Sapp committing July 3rd? I hear we're the team to beat there. I heard that when it comes to Florida State, that Quayshawn Sapp, matter of fact, I actually had that list up. Let me see if I can try to find it. I heard there's like 3 guys that FSU's really in the mix for. When I say in the mix, I mean like you could almost pencil them in. Quayshawn Sapp is one. That's a Leesburg at a Lee County, Leesburg, Georgia, 6'5", 320. He's an offensive tackle who's another guy who they think may move into guard, but he's a big, huge kid. He's the crystal ball. Daughtry Richardson, who I know Miami fans ain't going to like hearing that name because they want him bad, but he's a Miami Central kid, and everybody, from what I'm hearing, feels like Florida State's the team to beat on him, and he's a legit offensive tackle from what I'm hearing, has the long arms, has the he's 6'4", 285, but he has the athleticism. He's had the long arms, and then there's one more, and not him. Let me see if I can find him. There's one more. It might be a guard. There's one more. Let me see if I can find him. So somebody might know exactly who I'm talking about. They might put the name in there. Nope. one more offensive lineman that they're saying you can all but pencil in the Florida State. FSU is expected to take about 5 O linemen this year, which is awesome. We need them. Kenyatta Charlton. Kenyatta Charlton is the other guy, and he's 6'5", 350, offensive guard, massive kid. Those are the 3 guys that people are saying pretty much you pencil in the Florida State, and FSU is going to land them dudes. POLK, it's a linebacker that's in the portal named Dimitri Moore from Vanderbilt. I saw him. He was praising Coach Marv like crazy on a Sugarcane channel, and I believe Marv should give it a look. If it's true that we do have one scholarship left because of whoever won't be coming, I don't know if adding a linebacker is the move because I don't know. I like the guy. Other than DJ Lundy, I honestly like the guys we got. I like Deloach, I like McCray, I like Dix, and I like Gaynor. I just don't think they're being coached right. So he can praise Marv all he wants, but that's just my opinion there. And maybe I'm just not good at evaluating the linebacker position. But I like those guys. Was it Brownlee? Brownlee might have been the other starting corner, Dan Squatch. And if it was, then put Brownlee in there. And again, maybe it was a good thing that we didn't hear who that. I don't recall hearing the name of the other starting corner for majority of the spring game. So that might have been a good thing. Brownlee's going to be in there. I think Ronaldo Green is another guy who's going to be in the mix. I don't think Ronaldo Green played in the spring. I think he was dealing with some injuries. I could be wrong. But we're deep, man. We're deep at secondary. Jumping off football for just a sec. Will there be a live stream for Joshua? Wayne, I don't think that fight's going to happen. If the fight happens, yeah, of course. I'll be live streaming Joshua and Fury. Yes, definitely. Brownlee was the other corner. I'm high on Sapp. Charlton is more of a long shot. I'm skeptical on Richardson. Sapp plays with Jaron Willis, I think. Charlton. Richardson looks like a coin flip to me. I know he plays a high level of competition, but still, when you say coin flip, do you mean that Florida State can get him, or do you mean whether he's a good player or not? I'm cool with taking a linebacker in the portal or a DN or a D tackle. We need to get D tackle Bishop Thomas. He's a trench monster. I've not seen a bunch of linebackers in the portal worth taking. Me either, Dan Squatch. That's what I'm saying. I don't think the linebacker is even in the set. Not that I'm not high on the coach. I'm not high on the coach. This offense could be lethal. Bishop Thomas is criminally underrated. Marvin Jones Jr. is keeping this thing real quiet. Do you think he leans toward following in his pop's footsteps? I think if Florida State gives him what he needs to see, I think he's a Seminole. The one legacy that I'm hearing that I'm not saying FSU's not high on, and I think they would take him in a minute, but the one guy I think that they're kind of neutral on is Armelia. I think they from what I heard, FSU's trying to land some big, because from what I've heard, like I said, you can pencil in Charlton, Richardson, and Sapp. From what I'm hearing, FSU feels like they're going to land those 3. Add that to Ba. Those are 4. They're going to take 5. They feel like for that 5th guy, they're going to swing for the fences and try to get an elite level prospect. And from what I'm hearing, they're really going, Armelia might be the 3rd option at tackle. I don't know if that's a smart move. I don't know if you want to make him feel like he's a 3rd option. But from what I hear, they are looking to land some of the bigger Elijah Pritchett apparently is the number 1 guy on their board, and he's out of Georgia. But Elijah Pritchett apparently is the number 1 guy that they're looking for. They're trying to land a big time guy there. There's another name. I don't quite remember who though. But I think Elijah Pritchett is the guy that they are coveting the most. And I don't remember who the other guy. I think it may have been P.J. Williams, may have been the other guy, but I freaking forget. But Pritchett is the guy that I remember off the top of my head for sure. I'm still pissed that we lost Jaron Willis, but I'm hearing he chose Georgia Tech over us because Georgia Tech promised he would be playing safety. Yep, we covered that, Irv. I don't think it's a smart move for him to go trying to be playing safety, but if Georgia Tech sees him that way. Wanda, how are you doing on this fine night? Can you tell us about Dylan Gibbons? I've definitely talked about Dylan Gibbons, Wanda. Hold on 1 second. Norvell Central in the building like always. Watch out for that class of 2022 3-star offensive tackle Trent Ramsey. I think Julian, Elijah Pritchett, Drew Shelton, Dante Richardson, or even Tyler Gibson are higher priorities at tackle. But just the name to – I think your Trent Ramsey one is a good one, especially if they – I think Elijah Pritchett's kind of a long shot. I would probably put more eggs in the Armelia basket personally. But hey, again, if they get the guys that they really think they're going to get, they're going to try to swing for the fences on some of these other guys. Maybe if you miss on those, Trent Ramsey is the guy you go for. For versus Joshua, except for August, it's not set. Believe me, I've been following it close. It's not set. They might be shooting for that, but it's not set at all. He looks like a coin flip developmental guy. Okay. Ronaldo Green will be back in full camp. What up, Brendan? What are we saying? A to Central. Either Armelia or Jones Jr. One of the two is probably our best bet. At this point, I think so. It seems like the legacy angle isn't a priority for those two. I think it might be a priority. Well, priority is a strong word. I don't know if it's a priority for either. From what I heard, Florida State hasn't even recruited Marvin Jones Jr. as a legacy. Like they have not tried to. I don't know, and I think that's a smart move there. So they have not done that. For Armelia, again, I think it comes down to the fact that they are looking at some other big fish at that offensive tackle room. If Atkins can land us 5. What up, Peter? If Pritchett goes to Bama, our chances with Armelia go up. Agreed. I think they want Pritchett more. If we don't get Pritchett, I think they go after Armelia. I pop in from time to time. Always love to support the GOATs. Hey, Norvell Central's the GOAT, not me, but I appreciate the love, man. I appreciate the love for sure. Philly says, what's up, Polk? You think the staff will pocket an O-line spot if they don't get a highly ranked offensive tackle from the portal after December? If you're talking about for this upcoming year where there is potential to have that one scholarship, do I think they'll pocket it? Hey, buddy. I don't know if they'll pocket it or if I kind of rather them pocket it than use it. What are you doing?
What are you doing in there?
I'm doing a video.
What are you doing?
Okay.
I
don't know if they'll pocket it or not. I think they might pocket it. They haven't been. Look how long for it took them to finally use it on Gibbons. I don't think they'll just use it just to use it. They may pocket it. What's up, 904 Davis? Watch his film. I felt better about him going to Georgia Tech after I saw the way he was used in high school. I don't know how it translates. His coverage looked lackluster. He's a great designated hitter. Rose changed profiles. Says a lot of people think Armelia a bit overrated. I don't know if he's overrated or not. We're gonna see. But I would rather have him than not. I'd be following Central on IG. Dan Squatch, thanks for the info, fam. And do you think the offense will be lethal? Lethal's a strong word, but I think the offense is going to be legit. I think it'll be the best offense we've seen. I think it'll be the best total offense we've seen since Jameis was here. Because after Jameis, we relied on Dalvin Cook. We were just a Dalvin Cook show. I think you're going to see a team that has the potential to have a quarterback throw for 3,000 plus and at least one running back that has over 1,000 all-purpose yards. I think that's extremely possible. As you see, they like to use Corbin in the passing game. It would not shock me if Corbin had over 1,000 all-purpose yards. I think you're going to see something like that, man. Mayan King, Norville Central, got another subscriber. And Dan Squat says, I don't know how big a league Lee is in. They got 2 4-stars, so I don't know, but I kind of amazed their coach plays Willis like they do. Seems mighty small ball. And that could be the case. It could be a case where Willis is just the best athlete on the field. So you use him. You know what I mean? Again, when you're talking about D1, ACC, I talk about it all the time. Use guys to their strengths. Specialize in the position. You think Duffy can help land at least 2 more IMG class of 22? Well, he got us 1. Who are some of the other IMG targets? Anybody know? I haven't quite looked into the IMG targets. Son, what are you doing? You hit your head? It's okay. Do we have room for any more? We have room for 1 more, Zoe. What's going on with you, Zoe, by the way? But from what I hear, yeah, we have room for 1 more. Corbin might make a step, man. He's been working. I you know me, man. I've been a full-time defender of Jay Sean, but wasn't so high on him at the beginning of last year. But by the end of last year, I thought he was the most consistent back. Well, he was the guy they used the most. But when you talk about pass blocking, catching the ball, running the ball, I thought Corbin was the guy. Kamari Wilson, the safety. Can we get Kamari? I think that'd be a tough battle. I think Miami's in on him. Kamari's going to be a tough battle down the stretch. We'll see. Dylan Everett is another one. I've heard some stuff about him. I don't know how seriously he considers Florida State. Brandon says, I believe our O-line is the key. Defensive line also.
I'm wearing hot, Daddy.
I'm wearing my own hat. Come on, man.
Huh?
Here, you want to put on a hat? Well, then go away. What's wrong with you? I wish we could get. Yeah, I'm with you, man. Wish we could go straight to September. And don't we have enough DBs? Well, we're talking about the recruiting class. We have, 2? We only have 2 right now. Definitely add more if you can. What else we got tonight? Oh, okay. Let me answer Wanda. She asked me to talk a little bit about Gibbons. She asked me to talk a little bit about him. So we talked about him earlier, but I'll do a quick review on Dylan Gibbons. Notre Dame transfer, 6'4", 309 pounds out of Clearwater. Grad transfer with potentially 2 years left. Again, I like what he brings. I think he brings great value, great depth. I think he's a guy who's going to play either center or guard. I would not be shocked to see him play either. And again, people have kind of been down on the take saying he was a backup, Again, name me 3 guys better than him on this offensive line right now. I don't think you can. Dylan Gibbons was a career backup, but he's a guy who played behind NFL caliber players, developed by a coach who's putting guys in the league. I don't think you can get asked for too much more, especially when you talk about taking transfer portal guys. When you're talking about transfer portal guys, you're going to talk about taking guys that are backups. That's what you're going to talk about. If you could get any D tackle, not last name Nolan, Who would you want Odell to get in this class? Man, I'd be wrong if I just said get a defensive tackle. But let's check the names. Y'all be putting me on the spot with some of these questions. Give me Dindy. If I can get Dindy, give me Dindy. Off the top. Give me the local Polk County kid. We're talking about being a Polk County legend and Odell and all of this. Give me Gabriel Brownlow Dindy, and I'll shut up about Odell Higgins. He ain't gonna get him, but if he lands him, I'll shut up. I see a lot of 6'2", 6'3" guys kind of like offensive tackle. God, just don't make them like he make them. You just gotta find them. Over or under 2 5-stars for the class. Can I take the even? Can I take the even? Can I take the even? If you made 2.5, you say. I'll take the under. I'll take the under. You're welcome, Wanda. I'm not impressed with many D tackles this year. Dindy would be nice. Dindy, you said I couldn't take the number 1 kid in the country. Fair. Give me Dindy. Give me the Florida Polk County kid. If we can't get these kids, it's supposed to be Odell's home stomping turf. If you can't get these kids, then who can we get? Give me him and let the cards lay where they lie after that. Other than Dindy, again, there's not a lot of guys that really enamor me in this year's defensive tackle class. Yeah, I've heard some stuff about Daniel Lyons. I would take that one. But he's only a 3-star. Brandon Cleveland, maybe, but I'm hearing NC State is in the running for there. So I go under. Yeah, I took the under. Do you think defense will improve with all the transfers? I don't know. I hope and pray, but it's hard for me to say for sure, man. Rose says he likes Bear Alexander, but he's committed to Georgia. Yeah, 6'3", 325 out of Texas. Bear, that man's got that man's name is Bear. Perfect name for a defensive tackle. I'll say that. I'm fairly confident in the secondary being improved. D-line is a wait and see. I think, yeah, that's what I just said. Any D tackle named Bear, give me that all day. I like what we have. Defensive line, I think I like the starting unit. I got to wait and see who they put at that other end. I think if you had to put one guy in there now, they're probably going to go with McClendon at the other defensive end, but I think that position is going to be open. I like the problem I have with the defensive line is the depth. Like, I don't know what we have behind Jermaine Johnson. I like Fabian Lovett and Coop. I just don't know what we have behind that. I like Dennis Briggs for the most part, but again, I just don't know what we have behind these guys. That's my issue with the defensive line. I like the starting 4, whoever that 5th guy may be. I just don't know about depth. I forget about Keir Thomas. So there you go. I forget all about Keir Thomas all the time. That's because we didn't see him in the spring game. Big Cat Bryant, about the only D-line name better. Is Keir Thomas healthy? From what I heard, he's going to be healthy for the fall. Call me a homer, but I'm going to take the over on a 2.5. 5-star, you going to be back, baby. I don't think, like, even if we hang on to Sam McCall, I don't know what other. I think Wilson's a long shot. I think some of the other 5-stars, man, are just long shots at this point. But then again, you go out there and you win 8-9 games, anything can happen. Like KG said, anything's possible. If Kier Thomas shows up like Robinson, we're good. If he shows up like Moore, it lowers the ceiling. And Fabian Lovett looks like he turned. Man, Fabian Lovett, I'm excited to see what he does. That talk about putting in work. He's a guy who's transformed himself. Again, I like what I'm seeing out of Fabian, and I'm liking pairing him with Coop. The problem is I just don't know what you have behind those guys. And because I don't know what you have behind them, I've even been of the thought of maybe start Fabian next to Briggs and have Coop and True Thompson or somebody be your major two back. Because I don't know what you have behind the two. I'm okay with Briggs, but after it's Fabian, Coop, Fabian, Briggs, and then I think it's maybe a massive drop. Am I forgetting a name? If I'm forgetting a name, let me know. But I think it's a massive drop after Dennis Briggs. I really do. Are you going to have to depend on a Joshua Farmer? You might. I want to see Demore Tate. I'm hearing that Demore Tate might not even be ready for the fall, Brandon. We might not see Demore Tate this year either, from what I'm hearing. Surprise Lovett too thin and gets tossed around. Yeah. He did, but he's looking good. We'll see. And Marcus Wright says, I haven't heard anything about Demore Tate. He's supposed to be the next best thing in the secondary. He's been hurt. He hurt himself in the spring, and from what I'm hearing, he might not even be ready for the fall. Malcolm Ray. And like I said, that's a big drop until I see more. I'm not sure what we're getting out of Malcolm Ray and True Thompson. And I know we got Joshua Farmer, and they should be adding Chambry Jackson to that mix. I get it. But you get my concern. After the top guys, top 2 or 3 guys, I just don't like where they're at in the defensive tackle position. If Farmer shows out like Scott did in year 1, he can be my 3rd string D tackle. That's best case scenario. Best case scenario that happens. Yeah. And that's the linebackers and defensive tackle, the heart of the defense, the interior of the defense, probably the weakest positions on the field. Probably the weakest positions on that defense, man. I don't want to keep harping on it, but it is what it is. Hearing a lot about Patrick Payton. Hey, if Patrick Payton can come in and give you something opposite of Jermaine Johnson, watch out. Watch out. Like I said, I'm going a little bit longer than I usually do on these hangovers. As you know, I've been gone for a few weeks, or I think it was only 2 weeks. Wasn't gone that long. Last video I did was about when Nigel Leak decommitted. So here we are. Here we are. Obviously, like I said, you guys missed me and I missed you guys. But I ain't got nothing going on, so you can keep them coming. Ain't neither one of those 200-pound DNs, Brian Burns. Don't disagree there. But if you think they can do something, who knows, do you think Travis J is a stud? I think Travis J has a lot of talent. He got to put it together. I don't know if I don't really use the word stud, but I think he's a player, and I think he's a playmaker. I hear George Wilson putting. Well, the thing I like about George Wilson is that he just played a high school season in the spring. In March and April, he was actually playing high school football because that's what Virginia did up there. I like that. I think he's going to come in ready to play. The DNs are a little bit on the thin side. Byron Turner might be the guy that plays more defensive end than we expect. He's the guy that's coming out of high school, 6'3", 240 pounds. So that might be your guy. The higher upside guys, though, I think are George Wilson and Patrick Payton. I've been so starved for FSU content, I've been scouting Notre Dame. And that's the thing. The thing is, there hasn't really been much to talk about I'm not one to come on here and just make a video for the sake of making a video. Me and the fellas got to get back on the triple shot and do something. But for the most part, I just been laying low and chilling, taking a little break. But I'm back. We'll try to keep it coming. The more that comes out, the better. I personally, I'm like you guys. Can't wait for the season. I expect the channel to go to new heights during the season. I really do. Win, lose, or draw. Hell, negativity brings in more attention anyway. But win, lose, or draw, I expect this channel to go to take that next step come season time. I really do. Joshua Farmer looks good. He did. I think Joshua Farmer has a bright future. I just don't know freshmen are you going to rely on him this early. But I do think he's a guy who could give you some good fourth or third string snaps. VA was wild this year. Our local team played 5 games and shortened the playoffs. I think Amari Gaynor has a big year in the middle. I am looking forward to seeing Amari again. I just don't know how they're being coached. And Notre Dame got some strengths, but they go unproven. That's what I said. Everybody that was trying to pencil in Notre Dame as an L, they lost the quarterback. Right now, I think they're in like a 3-way quarterback battle. They have no idea who their quarterback's going to be. We just saw 2 to 3 offensive linemen get drafted, so they're going to be putting in a bunch of new guys. Offensively, I think that running back is coming back, but I don't know how good is that guy really. And FSU was giving him wide open holes to run through. Hell, anybody could have ran through those. I like our chances with Notre Dame. I really do. I really like our chances in that game. I mean, it's the off season, not allowed to really talk about on a week-to-week basis until, and that's the thing, Wayne. That's just I don't like leaving. I don't like leaving. I don't like going too long without touching base. People are gonna think, oh, POLK don't make videos no more. Da 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 da. And, then people forget about you. Some people just, for whatever reason, some people don't do stuff during the spring during the off season at all. Some people do stuff, but then it's like it's not really quality content. Like, could I release a video every day of me talking about random stuff? Sure. I just don't feel like people want to hear that. But I know people want to hear my thoughts on when big stuff happens, transfers, commits. You feel me? Tyree is actually good though. Tyree who? No squad. Hello, listen to their media affiliate. They did an offensive overview yesterday. They lumping us in with Toledo. That disrespect. That actually makes me laugh with Toledo. Wow. Okay. Wide receiver corps should be vastly improved. I believe so. I really do. I'm in a show me mode for wide receiver. I'm with Dan Squatch, but I have confidence in Parchment, if nothing else. I do think that we're putting maybe a little bit too much faith in these freshmen. They're still freshmen. They're still going to have freshman plays, which is going to be missed routes and maybe some drops, even if they are talented, And that's why I said, I hope Ontario Wilson and Keyshawn Hillis and Jordan Young and Brian Rhymes, hope them guys are working. Hope they're working because we need them. I hope they're working. Chris Tyree, the running back, the Notre Dame running back, got you. He might be good. He might be good. I'm just saying anybody could have ran through those holes Florida State gave him last year. Didn't Amari Gaynor make him fall make him fumble on his first carry? Again, not saying he's not good, but come on, it is what it is. He already committed to LSU. All the way past us, bro. That's okay. Irish breakdown is what it's called. Cool. I'm glad that, a program like Notre Dame And I'm gonna talk some trash here right now. I'm gonna look them up real quick. But a program like Notre Dame ain't won shit since when? When the last time Notre Dame won? In the 80s? Got the nerve to look past anybody just because they've had a few good seasons? Cool. Please continue to look down on us. Put us in the same boat as Toledo if you want to. Okay. Yeah, I'm looking at their page now. Running back is a strength. Tight end is a strength. O-line and QB and wide receiver are all improvement. The only thing that will worry me is the tight end. I don't know if we can cover tight ends. I don't know if our linebackers can do all of that. And I don't know if putting a safety on them is a good idea. Tight end would be the only position I'd worry about. And that goes for every team this upcoming season. I think if they have a solid tight end, it could be a potential problem. Again, I have no faith in the defense. Y'all want me to pick them what y'all want me to say what this team is going to be. And I can't. Because I don't know what this defense is. And until I see what this defense does, has the linebackers play improve? Can the safeties cover? Which I just don't know. Can we get pressure on a quarterback consistently? Can a team not run the same counterplay 5 times in a row and get 10 yards every time? Like, until I see those things, I have no idea. I wish Donta Lucas steps up. He's going to have to. Since Holtz was there. There you go. It's the last time Notre Dame was anything. We got to want to talk about the boys. Meyer is no joke. He ain't Pitts, but he might be. Well, Greg Olson's damn good. Damn good. So, again, like I said, any team that has a quality tight end, that could be a potential mismatch. If you haven't noticed, for me, again, I said this last year. I said I was very confident in what I watched offensively, even when the offense would kind of stall and struggle. I felt like we were just limited talent-wise offensively. I don't feel like that this year. Defensively, I don't really feel like we're limited talent-wise at all. I think we limited some depth at certain positions. I just don't believe in the coaching on that side of the ball. Bro, we're going to see Cam McDonald do more than show up. So I hope so. I hope Cam McDonald, I think offensively we just have the pieces, man. I already talked about receiving core. Add Cam McDonald to that. Jordan Wilson is going to be a legit threat. I don't know if threat's the word, but he's going to be legit piece in that blocking scheme. That man, that is a grown man, is a monster of a human being at 6'6", whatever he is. They say he's listed at like 260. The dude looks like he's a chiseled 285. Like he just looks like a monster. He's going to be a real factor in this blocking scheme. Cam McDonald, because of that, they're going to be using Cam McDonald as a legit another wide receiving option. I already talked about Parchment. Dustin Hill, whether you think he didn't, just because he didn't early enroll, doesn't matter. I don't need a kid to early enroll. If Dustin Hill's running the legit 4.38 like they say he ran in high school, I don't need Dustin Hill to know the route tree. Send him on go routes. Send him on quick slants, even the occasional bubble screen. Get the ball in his hand and get out the way. Again, running back room is deep. We're adding depth to the offensive line. The offensive line, the offense in general, I'm excited to see what it's going to look like. He says, put Gainer on Meyer and call it a day. I got to see it. Notre Dame ain't got no Carter Boatwright, nothing. Whatever happened to him? Is he still on? Carter Boatwright. Just wish McDonald got thrown. Just wish McDonald got thrown. Yeah. But you saw it in the spring. And that's why when I made that whole video about Mackenzie Milton or Jordan Travis had McDonald wide open in that spring game, overthrown by 5 yards. I think with Mackenzie Milton, McDonald's going to find his place and may end up being a real security blanket for a guy like Mackenzie Milton. How do you think Randy Shannon will help our defense, or do you think he will only recruit? I think they mainly brought him in there, Jason, for a South Florida connection. That's honestly why I think they brought Randy in there. I don't think they brought Randy in to supersede Adam Fuller or something like that. If Chris Marv continues what he's doing, can Randy Shannon please be our linebacker coach? I'll take that all day. I don't want to see Randy. Is he an upgrade over Adam Fuller? Probably. But I think you can do better. It was why I refuse to say that I want to see Randy Shannon as our defensive coordinator. It just is what it is. But I don't think they brought him in for that. I think they brought him in for South Florida connection and to help recruit. Our power run, Corbin and Williams, if Wilson is healthy, might be real with some of the upgrades on the line we got. I agree. Don't know why they didn't have McDonald run a mirror 10 yards down the field with Jordan Travis last year. Malcolm Ray flashed a couple times. Did he? Talking about in the spring game, did he? Maybe. I don't recall it. Not saying you're wrong, Antonio. Just don't remember it. Because he damn sure hasn't flashed in any games. So I'm assuming you're talking just the spring game. Play a two-man game like they did with the bubble screen option stuff. That's how they started off last year. I don't really foresee them doing that this year. Not if Mackenzie Milton's the starter. I don't see the two-man game with the bubble screen stuff. But you're talking about with just Dustin Hill, again, people have been saying, well, Dustin Hill's not going to do much at first because he wasn't an early enrollee. These kids play enough 7-on-7 year-round. Look at freaking Travis Hunter. They play so much 7-on-7. He can go out there and run a go route and run by a defender. With Parchment on the other side, the safety's going to have to pick and choose. You're either going to go after Parchment or Hill because Parchment isn't slow himself. McDonald will get at least 5 targets a game if Milton starts. Novell loves using the tight end, as evident when you watch the games at Memphis. Malcolm Ray flashed against those guys who we never hoped to see. Right. He flashed against Ira Henry, Jalen Goss, walk-on center. I forget his name, who was listed at 6'2", 260 pounds. Not a knock on Malcolm Ray, but no. Sorry, He got a touch sack and 1 actual sack in the spring game against the walk-ons and the walk-on quality guys. Ray had a few flash plays in the spring game. I'm good. If he can do that against the first team, if he can do that against this revamped second unit, because remember, that second unit in the spring game was missing Brady, Scott, Schrader, Herring, all of those guys. Now, I don't think Schrader's going to be back for the fall. I think he broke a fibula. I think Herring will be back. Estes, Brady Scott. You're probably going to move Darius Washington down to the second team. If they add another one, you could potentially see Bavion or Maurice Smith move to that second team. If you can do it against that group of second teamers, okay. But yeah, against Ira Henry and Jalen Goss and Utman, I think was his name. I'm good. If Ray does take a step forward, if he takes a legit step, he helps that defensive tackle room a ton. And he's been here enough, but like Dan Squasher said, I just don't buy it yet until I see it against a better level. Yeah, I don't buy it. I don't buy Malcolm Ray yet. I would probably take Joshua Farmer over Malcolm Ray. Joshua Farmer looks like a better player over Malcolm Ray. Just my opinion. Antonio says, post more, bro. War Chant be killing me. I'm a post more, man. I'm a post more. Don't worry. And me and Dan was on the same page. I just rather have Farmer. I take Farmer over Malcolm Ray right now. I take the true freshman over Malcolm Ray. And do we have some receivers now that don't mind going across the middle, like Kenny Shaw? Not as good as him, but are they willing to take those shots? I think Ontario Wilson wouldn't mind going across the middle. Like I'm hard. I'm usually pretty hard on Pookie because I just don't feel like he's a number one, and I know a lot of people think he's a number one or can potentially. No, so I come across as pretty hard on Pookie Wilson. But I do think if you talk about a receiver that wouldn't mind going across the middle, I think he would be in that category of guys who he wouldn't mind going across the middle, maybe taking a shot. I'll give him that. And again, I think Pookie Wilson can be a fantastic third or fourth option. I just don't think he's a 1 or a 2. He's not an X or a Y. Probably not really a Z either, but give me fourth option. But, you're really impressed by Brandon Moore. He wasn't what I was hoping for. I'm not sure if he came to the DB room, he thought he was. It's not that I was impressed with the healthy Brandon Moore. I don't know how much healthy he is off of that knee. And when he was healthy at UCF, he wasn't like a draftable round 3 level guy. If he can get back to that, I honestly believe, again, just look at the secondary, look at those corners and tell me which one of them are rounds 1, 2, or 3. Okay. You probably can't name one. We know for sure at one point Brandon Moore is considered a 3rd round type of pick. If he can get back to that, then I think he's a starter. If not, then it's up for grabs at that other spot. He might have a great game between the ears, but Moore looks slow. And Dan Squat says he ain't got no time though. This is last year. So, we'll see. Is it for me and him? It's all about him getting back to form. If he plays like that, like what I saw at UCF, I think he's probably the starter. If he doesn't, then Brownlee's probably your guy. Probably get Jerry and Jones and Brownlee. We'll see if Hunter Washington can come in and show something. Demore Tate would have been in the mix, but I don't think he'll be back for the fall. And Chad always showing up late. Ain't that something? But I'm definitely going to start posting more. Maybe just doing random talks. We can do random Q&A nights. I don't know. Something like that. I feel like I don't want to get on here and just be repetitive all the time. I like to come on here with some fresh takes. But obviously you guys like to ask my thoughts on starters at secondary and linebackers and stuff. So definitely get more back in the swing of this. June is probably not going to be that active of a month for me, though. June, I'll be on vacation in Puerto Rico. So go to Puerto Rico. I'll be in Florida as well. I'll be in South Florida, South Beach, Miami, Puerto Rico. I'll be in Central Florida, of course. I'll be in Polk County. I'll be in all those places. So in June, y'all might not see too much of me. Y'all might see stuff on the community page. I just post, my pictures. But yes, sir, Chad. So I'm trying to get as much as we can here in May, because in June I'm gonna be living La Vida Loca. But that's all I got tonight, guys. It was a great show tonight. Episode 29 of The Hangover. As always, hit that like button on the way out if you didn't hit it on the way in. Unless anybody else has anything for me, we'll be heading out here very soon. We'll scan the comments for another minute or so. Dan Squat says appreciate it. Absolutely. And hopefully, man, we got some more good news coming on this offensive line. I like what Alex Atkins is doing. Every time he gets a recruit, he posts himself smoking a cigar. So he's turning into my favorite coach on this whole damn team. Absolutely, Noles Squad. Can't wait for fall camp. But again, That's all I got tonight. Stay classy, Seminoles. And it is your boy Pope, a.k.a. A-Lo, a.k.a. the goddamn truth over here on 863 Seminole TV. See, I think I've been talking too long. My throat dry, my lips rubbing together. Over here on 863 Seminole TV. And we got you, baby. You guys have a great night. And I will see you guys next time.